What's up guys, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Now it's official, I am officially 20 years old, which is crazy to me. Start of a new decade is crazy, third decade on earth. But yeah, I want to thank you all for the birthday messages and the birthday wishes on Instagram, on YouTube. So many of you guys sent me so many birthday wishes. You guys are the best, so thank you very much regarding that. We're back. Very important week. We recommence. I am back at the stadium this weekend. I cannot wait. But leading up to the Torino game on Sunday, a week before the derby, I remember, it's an important week because, of course, players are coming back from the national teams. Italy yesterday with a crazy game against Israel. I can't even describe that game. Luckily, I wasn't watching it because it was my birthday party and I had a birthday dinner. But I saw the score and I was like, how on earth is that even possible? Two own goals, like, are you having a laugh? But yeah, anyways, Italy win. Massive game for them because if they hadn't won yesterday, I think we could have said bye-bye to the World Cup officially, not even considering the playoffs or not. But important week, Claudio Ranieri yesterday released to Sky Sports Italy a very interesting interview. An interview aimed to tell the fans what the financial situation is like, FFP, and giving comments on the general summer transfer session, how it has been. Of course, now that it has ended, Ranieri being the senior advisor, which has spoken with the manager regarding many of these deals and Massara, I think it's important, especially hearing him speak, because I think if there's one thing that Ranieri has made clear on how he wants to communicate, and he did this when he came in as their manager last season in press conferences, in interviews. I think knowing that he would have become the senior advisor and being, having an important role at communicating things, I think the pathway of communication that he has chosen is the pathway of being honest. So not necessarily saying things that will get the fans excited, but they're only wishful thinking, but rather describing how brutal the situation is, possible scenarios moving forward, so that the fans can, I'm not necessarily saying lower the expectations, because I don't think that's the goal, but keep their feet on the ground. There's one thing is keeping your expectations low. I don't think, of course, yes, I understand it, but it's not nice to keep expectations low because you can never rise and you can never raise the bar. It's different, however, to keep feet on the ground, because keeping your feet on the ground means that you can have expectations. You can have expectations of us winning the Europa League, but you always have to remember that the situation is how it is, and it's not easy, and that Roma need to follow several rules in order to make everything align. So I think that's the first thing that we must say, honesty. He spoke about the FFP, he spoke about the Sancho deal, which I think is interesting because I have a lot of doubts on that Sancho deal, ain't gonna lie. It stinks to me. But the first thing that he talked about is the FFP, and he said that Roma need to respect some costs. Of course, this is something that he's been throwing at us ever since he started speaking to us last season. This is the situation, whether you like it or not, Ranieri can't do anything about this. Gasperini can't do anything about this. Dan Fredkin can't do anything about this. It's how the situation is. There are costs that need to align with our balance sheets. There are costs that we can't overinflate. There are, costs that we need to intake in order to spend. And I think a lot of things, first of all, it's this. We all know what it is. We've been literally targeted by FFP for I don't know how many years now. The only thing that I don't understand, which maybe I'm wrong because I have this perspective because I am a Roma fan, I get the feeling we're the only ones who respect this. I don't know how to make it, but I have the feeling I only hear FFP targeting us. Name me another team that is as constantly fatigued by FFP the same as us. And it's not like it's something that started this season. I swear this has been going on for about 5 years. So I know the situation is this, but I don't understand why it's only us, or at least I get the impression that it's only us. Ranieri added that, of course, we need to respect the costs because otherwise we can get a red card. And that red card means that if we do qualify for the Champions League, for example, they might ban us from it and not let us play in it. So, of course, what Ranieri is saying here is, I see it as giving responsibility to the players and the manager, in a sense that it's your job. If you want to stay, if the fans don't want to see you leave, then the sad truth is you're responsible for this. You need to win something. It's not that easy, but you need to play well. You need to play well and try and aim at reaching your objectives. Because what he effectively said is that if we don't respect these costs next summer, a big player will leave, or more than a player will leave. So one between Zvelar, Kone, Soule, these players are going to leave next summer. There are costs that, of course, are going to come in automatically. Another thing is, I know the sponsor looks terrible on kits. I am the first fan of plain kits, and I think this kit that we currently have without a sponsor looks very good. But we need a sponsor. We need a sponsor, and that's more costs that come in. And the fact that it's the 9th of September and we still don't have a main sponsor, which maybe can give you 10 million here, and then you put a sponsor on your patch here and that gives you another 5 million. That's already 50 million. You need to work, especially when you're so bang on head with the FFP. Every single penny that goes in is vital. If we reach the semi-finals of the Europa League, we're going to get more money. So add all of these things, you're probably going to get a fixed amount of 50 million. That's not enough. You need to reach your objectives and you need to work towards your objectives. You need to rejuvenate the team, lower the wage bill, and try and do something. That's effectively why we bought Gasperini, as we said many times. But then he speaks about Sancho. And this is really like, I don't understand. I am so perplexed about this Sancho situation because I just can't make it stick together. So we're heavily restricted. We heavily need to lower the wage bill and the wage cap. We can't spend big on players on both the price tag and the salary. Can you then please explain to me why on earth we wasted almost a month on Sancho? I don't understand this one bit. I really, 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 really don't. And Ranieri said Sancho didn't come because the costs were too high. But then why did we target him and insist on him and beg him for 3 weeks? This is something, guys, that I will never understand. Because these two things that Ranieri has said to us are true, because they are true. I'm not doubting the truth of this, but they just don't make sense. It's like saying, no, it's genuinely like saying, I don't have money. I can only spend 15 euros every dinner each day. I am heavily bankrupt. I don't have a lot of money. So I know it sounds crazy and I hope it's not the truth. And it's not how life is, of course. But I need to survive on 15 euro a night for dinner. So you go to the supermarket and you're like, And actually tonight I want a really big steak. I want a really big steak, which is more than double the amount that I should spend. I really want that steak. I really, really want it. And you're like there standing in front of the steaks, and you're like for almost 2 hours contemplating whether you want it or not. You just said you don't have money. You just said you're bankrupt. You just said you've got so many debts. And you just said that you need to be careful on what you spend and how much you spend. And you've told yourself that you've got a limit of 15 euros per night for dinner. And then you insist on that steak, which is more than double the amount. It just doesn't make sense. Why did we insist on him? And why did the fact that we insisted on him mean that we ended up with nobody and didn't have a plan B? That is wild to me. It's just a mystery. The Sancho deal this summer has been a complete mystery. From him, I don't even know if it's true that he said no at this point. Maybe it's Roma who realized that they really couldn't afford this and stopped the negotiations. But then you don't explain why we insisted for 3 weeks, because the first thing you know is how much the costs would be. I don't know. I really don't know. But long story short, we wasted time on something that apparently we already knew was impossible to take. So that's where I'm like, I don't understand this. Anyways, that was the exclusive interview released by Claudio Ranieri, senior advisor to Sky Sports Italy yesterday afternoon. I must say, I am happy. I've said this many times. I'm happy that we have an image like Ranieri because he makes these perspectives transparent to the fans. And I think it's a smart move, because it's a strategic move, because the fans love him. So these concepts that might not be digested well by fans, if somebody like Ranieri explains them to you, then if you feel more, I don't know, you feel more calm. You feel as if with him everything is under control. I think it's strategic. I think Ranieri will have a big impact and position and role also when it comes to whenever the first tensions in the team will arise. Of course, that's the job of the manager, but having an image like Ranieri, trust me, is vital for a club like Roma and for the environment at Roma. Anyways, guys, I thank you again for the birthday messages that I received yesterday. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this exclusive interview. What are your thoughts? And I want to know your perplexities on the Sancho situation as well, because I really can't get my head around that. If we can get 150 likes on this video, it would be great. Hit the like, subscribe, and yeah, we're getting closer to 17k, so every subscriber counts. Bring your friends and families along, grandparents, uncles, dogs. Click that red button and that thumbs up, and I'll talk to you soon. Simo out.